ICE just figured out something that left illegal aliens across the country absolutely blindsided. It's not a raid. It's not a knock on the door in the middle of the night. It's happening in broad daylight in a place that no one suspected. And the number of apprehensions are setting new records unlike anything we've ever seen. And the left is absolutely losing their minds over it because for the very first time in years, there's nowhere left to hide. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, celebrating yet another glorious day in the Trumpian golden age that you made possible back in November of 2024. So if you want a front row seat on how you continue to change the world in ways you never even imagined, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We owe a great debt of gratitude to none other than Chuck Schumer. Yes, you heard that right. And no, I'm not smoking anything illicit. You, of course, all remember those lines stretching out for what seemed to be miles at airport security checkpoints across the country, precisely because of the Schumer shutdown when the Democrats refused to fund TSA several months back. How did that crisis come to an end? Do you remember? What forced Schumer's hand? It was the arrival of ICE agents. ICE agents arrived en masse to work together with TSA at our nation's airports to help expedite the lines. And as a result, Schumer and the Democrats completely lost their leverage and the shutdown collapsed. But something extraordinary came out of that brilliant maneuver by the Trump administration that goes way beyond airport security lines and ending shutdowns. As a result of that partnership, TSA began routinely sharing traveler information, flight manifests, passenger records with ICE. And every day, every hour, ICE is cross-referencing those names against people who have final removal orders, overstayed visas, or otherwise violated immigration law, even with zero criminal record. And as a result, we're now seeing daily scenes across airports all over the nation like this.
What are they doing?
Scenes like these have become increasingly common at airports across the country. ICE agents, often in civilian clothing, detaining immigrants near gates and check-in counters, prompting bystanders to film the arrest.
You're allowed to record their faces. You're allowed to record them.
Alicia Dansker filmed her friend Chantal Morales Rojas getting detained by ICE agents in Denver after an officer had questioned her immigration status as she waited for her flight.
ICE is now swarming airports across the country and catching more illegals than ever before. And they're strategically brilliant. So these aren't raids that require warrants for someone's house. There's no defensive measures that have to be taken into account in case the person under arrest has a weapon. These are people who've already voluntarily identified themselves to the federal government by booking a flight and walking through a TSA checkpoint, so they're obviously unarmed. I mean, you can't get more low-risk, high-efficiency enforcement than that, and it is completely 100% legal. ICE has the federal authority to arrest anyone suspected of being in the country illegally, wherever they are, full stop. And the arrest numbers since they've started this strategy, they've been through the roof. It's being widely reported that ICE recorded its biggest arrest month in the agency's history, making roughly 51,000 immigration arrests in July, an average of about 1,600 arrests per day. This broke the previous record set just 1 month earlier in June, when ICE logged approximately 43,000 arrests, meaning the agency has now posted back-to-back record-breaking months. And it's not just this airport strategy. Thanks to the big, beautiful bill, there are now thousands of newly hired ICE personnel deployed in the field and billions of dollars in fresh funding from 2 reconciliation bills that replenish the agency's budget. DHS Secretary Markwayne Mullin announced just last week that total removals under the Trump administration have surpassed 3 million, combining forced deportations with voluntarily self-deportations. Of that total, Mullin said just under 1 million were physical arrests and forced removals carried out by ICE and other federal agents, while the remaining roughly 2.2 million are attributed to self-deportations, people who left voluntarily, often through that CBP Home Apps Exit Bonus Incentive Program, which is the reversal of what Biden had meant it to be. And it's not just volume, gang. Let's keep that in mind. It's not just the sheer numbers. It's who they're catching that's so important here. In an exclusive, Breitbart reported this week that over a single weekend, ICE agents arrested illegal aliens convicted of murder, child rape, kidnapping, and robbery. People like Juan Mauricio Castillo of El Salvador, convicted of homicide in Nevada. Juan Escobar Herrera of Honduras, convicted of sexually assaulting a child under 12 in Alabama. Ong Luin of Burma, convicted of child sexual assault in Nebraska. Bruno Efron Santos Gonzalez of Ecuador, convicted of sexual assault of a child in Los Angeles. Is it any wonder that our crime rates, our national crime rates, have hit record lows under this administration? In the first half of 2026, homicides were down 18% year over year, on pace for the lowest level in at least 126 years. Carjackings fell 47%. Motor vehicle thefts dropped 20%. Robberies declined 17%, and residential burglaries fell 13% compared to the same period last year. Against the peak years of the past decade, the drops were even steeper. Homicides are down 51%. Carjackings down 73%. Burglaries down 56%, and vehicle thefts down 51%. But something else just happened that all but guarantees that these deportations are just the tip of the iceberg. We're about to see what the entire world saw as a stark reminder of just how different life would be if Democrats were still in charge. You are not going to want to miss this. Almost as stunning as this new parasite that the CDC just identified. Have you been hearing about this? There's been an explosive diarrhea outbreak in the United States this summer, and the CDC just confirmed the culprit. It's a new parasite found in grocery store fruits and vegetables, which has exposed hundreds of millions of Americans across over 30 states. The CDC is investigating a multi-state outbreak of cyclospora, parasite linked to contaminated fresh produce. It can create severe diarrhea, stomach cramps, nausea, fatigue, and other debilitating symptoms. Now, if you get sick, the CDC recommends a standard antibiotic. Most people know it by its brand name, Bactrim. And that's why the wellness company created the medical emergency kit with generic Bactrim plus 7 additional prescription medications to help treat more than 25 common illnesses and medical emergencies, all prescribed before you need them. Getting your kit is so simple. Complete a secure online medical questionnaire. If approved by a licensed physician, your kit ships directly to your door. Don't wait until you're sick to wish you were prepared. Visit twc.health/Turley and use code Turley to save up to $45 off and free shipping. Kits available to U.S. residents only. Zero Hedge is rightly reporting that the recent border breach in Ceuta, Spain, was nothing less than an optics disaster for open border Democrats heading into the midterms. As you all know, over the weekend, roughly 60,000 migrants stormed across the border from Morocco into the Spanish enclave of Ceuta in a single day. Reports put the death toll from the resulting chaos and stampede to upwards of 75. 60,000 people flooding a city of no more than 80,000 residents. President Trump did not waste a second to respond.
Immigration is an incredible problem for Europe. You're allowing people in that in many cases are not going to help you. I'm going to be nice. They're not going to help you. And the people that are there, people from your country, people from other countries that have been there for a long time and did a great job, beautiful place. Look, I love it. You know, my parents both came from Europe indirectly. So a German, Scott, and, you know, it's like one of those things. It's very sad. When I see what's happening to Europe, it's very sad to me. But they have a problem with immigration.
White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller didn't hold back either, saying Democrats did this to America every single day for 4 years under Biden and will do it again instantaneously, but orders of magnitude greater if they are given any form of national power. And here's the political gut punch for the left. Spain's socialist government, led by Pedro Sanchez, had been actively pushing to grant legal status to over 1 million illegal migrants, part of what critics are calling a policy of suicidal empathy, to quote the Canadian scholar Gad Saad. Sanchez is now facing what is without question his biggest political crisis yet. But what's so key here, as Zero Hedge rightly pointed out, is that this isn't a disaster for a single leftist administration. This was an optics disaster for open border leftism all over the world. It was an optics disaster for open border politics across the entire West, because for the very first time, tens of millions of ordinary voters watched with their own eyes in horror exactly what unchecked migration looks like when a socialist government rolls out the red carpet. That image, 60,000 people storming a border in a day, that image is exactly the picture Republicans will be putting in front of voters between now and November. And Democrats have no good answer for it. So here's how all of this ties together. So on one side, you've got a smart, efficient, completely legal ICE strategy, quietly removing people who are in this country in violation of the law, including violent criminals convicted of murder and child rape, at a record pace of 1,500 a day. On the other side, you have the loudest voices in the Democrat Party actually publicly pushing for the exact kind of open border policies that just detonated into chaos and death in Spain. The contrast could not possibly be clearer heading into the midterms. Republicans are pointing to results: record low crime, record ICE enforcement, dangerous criminals off the streets. Democrats are stuck defending sanctuary policies and open borders while the world just watch what that actually produces in real time and say it up. The competition ain't even close. All as ICE arrests and the 3 million deportations are ultimately only just beginning. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button for breaking news and analysis you're not going to get anywhere else. Love you guys. God bless. The old order is ending and something radically different is taking its place. I break it all down in my new book, Civcosm, available now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and everywhere books are sold. Links below.